Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to really get into the origins of Japan's live idol scene.
Yeah, those smaller venues, the really close fan interactions.
hmm
It's quite a unique world.
It is, and we want to understand how it first got going, how it took hold.
Exactly. So we're looking at the period just before things really exploded. Our main guide here is the Live Idol Revolution Chronicle.
Okay, so your mission, listening in, is to get a handle on the groundwork. What needed to be in place for this whole phenomenon to, emerge and take off. And our starting point is the late 2000s. Think maybe 2008 to 2010, a time totally dominated by one group, AKB48.
Right. And like with any big change, any revolution even, things don't just appear out of nowhere, do they?
No, definitely not.
There's always a buildup, a shift in the environment. The Chronicle actually calls this period a kind of pre-dawn for the live idol scene.
A pre-dawn. I like that.
And the big catalyst, the thing that really set the stage, was AKB48's business model, specifically the handshake events.
Okay, the handshake model. Let's break that down. So the basic idea was you buy their CD,
Yeah.
and often inside there's a ticket. And that ticket gets you into an event where you can actually physically shake hands with a member.
A direct personal interaction.
Yeah.
And crucially, those CDs also had voting tickets.
Ah, yes, the elections. And these weren't just like fan club polls. These votes decided who got the center spot for the next single. That's pretty major.
It was huge. The impact was immense. I mean, we're talking election results broadcast on national television.
Wow.
Think about that. A fan vote driven by CD sales, getting that kind of mainstream spotlight. It really cemented this link between buying the music and getting, well, both access and influence.
Yeah, that direct connection. Purchase equals interaction and a say in the group's direction.
Exactly.
Now, we're not going to get bogged down in like the specifics of every single handshake event or election.
Right, that's a whole other deep dive, maybe.
Yeah. But the impact of these systems, their sheer power, that's what's crucial here. They were the engine behind AKB48, just skyrocketing.
And this is the core insight, really. AKB48's massive success made the potential of this approach blindingly obvious to everyone else.
How so?
Well, think about the mechanics. Sell a CD, maybe do a short performance or appearance, and then offer that direct interaction, the handshake. It looks simple
And replicable.
and replicable, and importantly, a clear way to make money. There was a formula people could look at and think, okay, I see how that works.
It's interesting because, as the Chronicle notes, the basic pieces weren't entirely new, right? Selling music tied to some kind of fan event.
No, you'd seen variations before in different music scenes, underground stuff, visual key maybe.
But AKB48 just demonstrated the sheer power of it on an unprecedented scale. They showed how effective putting those pieces together could be, especially with their level of organization.
Absolutely. It's like they found the perfect recipe and scaled it up massively. And the Chronicle also points out how that interaction itself evolved.
Ah, right. It wasn't always just handshakes.
No, it often shifted to checky, those instant photos. You know,
Right.
An idol poses with a fan, snap, you get the picture right there.
So the handshake is fleeting, but the checky, that's a physical souvenir.
Exactly. But the core principle, still there, a personal connection tied directly to supporting the group, usually through buying merchandise or the photo op itself.
Does the Chronicle suggest if the checky maybe deepen the connection even more, having that tangible thing?
It touches on that.
Yeah.
You could certainly argue it amplified the emotional value. Instead of just a memory of a touch, you have proof, a keepsake. Did that make fans feel even more invested? It probably did for many, yeah.
So AKB48's success wasn't just their story, it created ripples.
A huge ripple effect. The Chronicle describes this buzz, this inspiration. Other people, other potential groups or managers saw this and thought, hey, maybe we could do something like that.
Yeah, the CD sales linked to that personal engagement, suddenly it looked like a viable path.
It really makes you wonder about the timing, doesn't it? When exactly do people start seriously thinking, let's try this model?
And what drove them? Was it purely seeing AKB48's success, or were some already experimenting with similar ideas?
Or flipping it around. As you mentioned earlier, was there maybe this sort of pent-up fan desire for closer interaction already there?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that existing desire is part of why AKB48's model works so well in the first place. It met a need.
It's a fascinating thought, like which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Kind of. But whatever the exact sequence, the Chronicle is clear. AKB48's phenomenal success and their business model fundamentally changed the environment.
Right.
It created this excitement, this belief that this kind of idol activity, this close contact model, was possible and potentially very successful.
Okay, so let's tie this together. AKB48 with the handshake model, later evolving often into Chiki, didn't just get popular, they basically terraformed the landscape.
That's a good way to put it.
They created that environmental shift, that buzz that directly set the stage for what people started calling the idol warring states era.
Exactly. That period of intense competition and rapid growth in the number of idol groups, many using variations of that same core model.
AKB48 showed it could be done, and perhaps more importantly, they showed it could be monetized effectively.
Precisely. Their innovation wasn't just for them. It gave everyone else a blueprint, a powerful, replicable blueprint that changed the whole game.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. Thinking about how straightforward, really, the handshake or chicky model seems, yet its impact was enormous. What other simple innovations, maybe overlooked things, have caused massive shifts in other industries? Or in culture?
Yeah, what small element, when combined or scaled up in just the right way, suddenly unlocks huge potential. It makes you want to look closer at the beginnings of things you're interested in.
Can you spot those preludes, those key moments or simple mechanisms that maybe unexpectedly just changed everything?
Often, the seeds of the biggest transformations are sown in those early, maybe less flashy stages. Worth thinking about.